really glad you're bringing that up so that everybody that's listening to this right now can go, you know what, maybe I should say yes to money, and maybe I should take a leap and, quit this job and do this, or start the business, or really start to value myself and ask for what I'm worth. Because the more money you have, the more difference you can make with it. So that's a good.
Hello, everyone. I am Claudiu Murgan, the host of the Spiritual Inspired podcast. Welcome back to a new episode. My guest today is a fellow Canadian, Joy Baker. Joy, thank you for accepting my invitation.
Hey, Claudio. It's so great being on your show, and I'm looking forward to interacting with you and having an amazing conversation.
Me too. And you are a revolutionary spiritual healer and transformational coach. And you help people, overcome their generational patterns of trauma and limiting beliefs. And they have to break through their shell and become who they are. And I would like to start this conversation by asking, how did you discover your own trauma and dealt with it?
It's been a good question. It's been about a 30-year journey since I started on the path. And I used to be completely 3D consciousness, fear-based and numb. That's my default, is to numb out and, just avoid everything. And I just realized that the life I was living wasn't working. I was working with the horses, and I loved horses. They were my friends, but it was at the time I was on the racetrack, and it was becoming more of a business-oriented environment, and stress was preventing the friendship with the horses, and things were just changing. So I actually got involved in a network marketing company, and that's what started me on this path. And I started learning about the mind and such. And then it was actually when I read the book, the Celestian Prophecy, that awakened me to energy work, and that just clicked. I mean, once I realized about energy, like beyond the mind, I just was fascinated with it, and just kind of went from there and learned about chakras and such. And then I started to remember through repressed memories, abuse that had happened growing up. And, I had epilepsy, speech impediment, so lots of bullying, from kids at school. And then there was a lot happening at home, and I became amazingly shy, like so painfully shy. I just didn't talk to anybody. I hid with the horses. But I knew I had to come out of that. I think we've all felt, most of us have felt, at least on the path, we felt like there's got to be more to life. Like there's got to be more than just this. And how do I move forward? And, I started asking myself those empowering questions. And even though I didn't know anything about the path, I just knew there had to be more. And that's really how it started my journey. And then, yeah, like I said, once I heard about energy work and the chakras and how, the subtle bodies are aura and everything, I was just, well, I was hooked. But, and then I just kept studying that and doing my inner work. And I found different techniques and, energy releasing techniques that work to empower me. And it was about 20 years before I started doing this full time that I realized. At first it was more of a coach, because I didn't know about energy work. So I was focused. I actually wrote it down, that I wanted to be a coach, and I wrote down my whole vision. First time I'd ever heard about writing down a vision. And I wrote it down, and then I realized I had a whole lot of inner work to do on myself first. So it was about 20 years of really intense inner work before I started doing the healing full time, like with clients as a business. And and anybody who's on the path knows it's a tough path, and, going deep into your pain, but it's really rewarding, because I am so glad that I'm at this place where I can understand from a higher consciousness. And I do understand that there are, the non-physical light beings supporting us all the time. And so, yeah, well, it's been a tough journey, I'm grateful for it as well.
Yes, I think this journey is easy for very few of us who understand what's going on, either from an early age, or they get a download sometime in their life and the switch is on, and they just move full force from that moment, trailblazing through their purpose, and they don't care about anything else. They want to impact as many people as possible, energetic wise, consciousness wise. And again, for some of us, takes much longer, is much more painful, brings to the surface memories that we are not aware of, and experiences we're not aware of. So, but in the end, if we have to get there to point B, let's say, we'll get there, even if it's more painful or takes longer.
Exactly. As long as you stay on the path. And actually, once you're on it, you can't get off anyways. So you might as well say, go through the fear and allow yourself to move forward and take action and ask better questions, ask empowering questions. Because if you're listening to this or something, information like this, you're on the path. So you might as well move forward because you can't get off it anyways. So, but yeah, like you said, there's a switch that turns, a switch goes off and you're like, okay, well, there's something else out there, and that starts a search.
Yes, and if spirit brought you to this path and you tasted the beauty of what's going on, is very hard to step off the path. And if you try, I think the spirit will slap you back and will bring you back. But you're gonna have to suffer a little bit until you understand that there is no other way but this path. So
I think what you said there, Claudio, about if you step off the path, there's going to be, suffering. That's where we struggle. It's like we know there's something else, but that comfort zone of, the familiar emotional energies and experiences we grew up in, that's what's familiar is comforting, and that's our comfort zone. And it's 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 comfortable. So yes, we want to be in that comfort zone, and we want to be around the same people and the same kinds of people and the same interactions. And but you're going to struggle. So you can stay in the struggle, or you can go, okay, there's got to be something different here. And one way to break free of that struggle is to ask yourself empowering questions. Questions that the mind's like a Q&A. We're always asking questions, and the mind's answering it. Mostly, generally, it's unconscious. But we tend to ask ourselves questions that, like, what's wrong with me? Or how come nothing goes right? Well, your mind's going to answer that. And it's going to keep you stuck in that negative, 3D consciousness, and you're going to stay stuck in struggle. Start asking, what if this is possible? Okay, so what if I looked at this differently? And money's a big issue for people. So look at money differently and start valuing yourself and saying, what if I valued and appreciated myself and I looked at this situation this way? I wonder what would be possible. But the reason a lot of people don't is because it opens up consciousness, and often we have to take action. And that's where many people, and it's easy, I get it. It's easy to stay, oh, I want to go right to here, but take an action, because then you bust through the fear. Usually there's some kind of fear or resistance, but it's
yes.
worth it.
Yes, and I also changed my perspective towards money/currency. So now I say I'm open and willing to receive what God put aside for me and what I'm worth it. Because being, let's say, coming into a big amount of money is a good thing for everyone around you, around us. Because if we have that level of consciousness and we understand the concept of sharing, then thousands of people can benefit from it. It's not just
Absolutely.
me hoarding for a very selfish purpose.
Absolutely. Yeah. The more money you have, the more people you can help. They're going to benefit from it. Yeah, absolutely.
And I mentioned,
That's
yeah, please go
what
ahead.
you said there. The money God has put aside for me. I've never heard that before, and I love it. I'm going to remember that one.
And I mentioned to you before starting this interview about my conversation with an elder from Zimbabwe, a healer from Zimbabwe. And I know that making a contribution to his community will change lives. That means improve schools, improve clothing for the children there, maybe better diets, cleaner water. So why not accumulating or attracting this wealth and then spread it to those who need it?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really glad you're bringing that up so that everybody that's listening to this right now can go, you know what, maybe I should say yes to money and maybe I should take a leap and, quit this job and do this or start the business or really start to value myself and ask for what I'm worth. Because the more money you have, the more difference you can make with it. So that's a good point. Yeah, really good point. Glad you brought that up, Claudio.
And I'm not trying to judge, but it pains me when I see billionaires sending hundreds of millions of dollars to political parties, and that's for a selfish reason. And they
Hmm.
can use the same funds again to better the lives of others. I'm not saying that some of them don't do that, but the amount of cash that is thrown at these individuals is just outrageous.
It is. Yeah, absolutely it is. That I do want to mention though, because it came in just as you were talking there about, billionaires throwing money at political parties. What it's doing, if you look at it from a higher perspective and consciousness, while it's easy to get caught up in that, like they shouldn't be doing that, but what it's doing, it's bringing people like, myself, yourself, and others together and saying, let's support each other. And when there's enough of us coming together and saying, you know what, let's support each other and let's support each other from a place of prosperity and kindness and, heartfelt understandings and consciousness, that's going to dissolve. So there's so many different ways to look at it. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
And the same thing came to me right now. Maybe these billionaires should have a consciousness coach beside them that will direct
Ooh.
their energy and funds to worthy causes that don't get too much attention, you know?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
Joy, at the beginning, you mentioned that your path towards where you are right now started with some regression technique. Was that hypnosis or something else?
No, no, I've never done regression. It started actually when I started I was still with the horses on the racetrack, and I started dreaming of more, and I need to make more money. Actually, I wanted to have a ranch. I wanted to have my own farm with horses, so I need to make more money. And then that led me to network marketing, and that led me to reading books. At that time it was more about the mind and can do, more of the hype stuff. And then I found, the path of energy. Regression, a lot of repressed memories, yeah. But that was, 5, 6 years into once I started on the path.
Yeah. And there is a lot of talk about, transcending, moving, shifting from 3D to 5D. So where is 4D in this
Good point.
process? And some people
Yeah.
say that is not dimensional, but is frequency, three or third frequency, fourth frequency, fifth frequency. So how do you see this shift and these dimensions slash
Okay.
frequencies?
Good question. So, well, the fourth dimension, I used to wonder that too. Okay, you hear the third, fifth dimension. What about the fourth dimension? The fourth dimension, I see it as a portal. And that's where we're processing. That's where we're doing our inner work. So we're not in the third dimension, which is fear-based. And I see that as a matrix or like a web of interconnecting, limiting beliefs, thoughts, emotions, behaviors, ways of being, understandings and such. That is fear-based. And, that's why generations before us and our ancestors have been birthed into that, like that energetic field as well. So it's been a very, our ancestors are also very fear-based as well. The fifth dimension, that's divine love. That's a consciousness of divine love and anything that aligns with that. So guilt, shame, anger, anxiety, all of that aligns with fear, resonates with fear. And divine love, happiness, joyfulness, gratitude, appreciation, fun, laughter, creativity, abundance, inspiration, that all aligns with divine love. Now, the fourth dimension is a portal that's connecting those two, and that's where you're doing your inner work. Like when, let's say you listen, a person starts listening to something like this, and maybe they've you've gone through the day, and generally they're more stuck in the third dimension of how am I going to get through all that and such. They start listening to this is like a portal, that they're listening to it, things are unraveling within them, their energy is becoming more expansive and free, and that's when they start to enter the higher dimensions of the fifth dimension and above. Now, to me, a dimension it's like a field of consciousness, and consciousness is our thoughts, beliefs. It's like our way of thinking and seeing things, understanding or emoting and such. So, and that's all frequency. So yes, you could call them fields of frequency as well. And so the frequency, if you look at the frequency in the third dimension, and this is how you know if you're in the third or fifth dimension. And then of course you're going to know if you're in the fourth dimension, because that's when you're doing your inner work, you're processing, you're looking at stuff. If you're feeling heavy, like in your body, if you're feeling heavy, pain, if emotionally you're feeling, fear-based or despair or shame or guilt, it's in look at how you're feeling in your body. If you're feeling really heavy and dense, that is that more of a 3D energy, third dimensional consciousness. Well, energy, I should say. The fifth dimension, you're feeling light, you're feeling free, expansive, you're optimistic. You're like, you know what, maybe this is possible. Oh, that's a new way of looking at things. New ideas will come in. You start looking at things differently. And I've had clients say this to me before. Why did I never think of that before? Because when you're stuck in the 3D, it doesn't, I mean, when you're stuck in the matrix, there are energies that do not want you to become free. So it's like their agendas to keep you stuck in that. And that's why, like we were talking earlier, it takes so much courage and energy to walk this path, and bravery. Like anybody who's on this path is full of courage. You have to be, because it's not an easy path. And but we are moving forward from that. And there are more and more people awakening. And it's just going to be a matter of time, or lifetimes really, where there will be more people in the higher dimensions and the lower dimensions.
Yes, it's a very and fascinating. It's a fascinating idea, and we live in amazing times, and we have to wake up to these energies, like frequencies. And again, the silver lining through all my interviews is higher level of consciousness, and this is what will determine which direction we're going to go in our path.
Absolutely, yeah. And the more, so one suggestion, if you'll say, what if it's possible? It's just a phrase, but just keep saying, what if it's possible? Because it's so easy to get stuck in that, the denser energy of like anxiety, fear, despair. Remember, there's a lot of energies and generations that want to keep you stuck in that, the denser field of, fear-based field. But start asking yourself, you can say it like a mantra, what if it's possible? What if bypasses the resistance of the unconscious conditioned self or the ego mind? And saying the word possible over and over again opens up your energy field. And if you say that for 5, 10, 20 minutes, go out for a walk and just keep saying, well, what if it is possible? What if it is possible? What if it is possible? Or when you're driving, you notice new ideas start to come in, and you go, oh, hey, you know what? I could approach that way. And as your energy expands, things that before were keeping you stuck or in despair will start to resolve. And I would not be here if I had not said that like a mantra. Before I got on my first show, a friend of mine said to me about 2 years before I ever did my first interview show, that was about 8 years ago, they said, you ought to start doing, the summits and the podcasts and that. And I was like, oh no, that was my first thought. No, that's not going to happen. But then I started going, wonder if that's possible. And I would say that like a mantra when I was out working or walking. I just say, what if it's possible? What if it's possible? I even record into my phone for 20 minutes. And I'd have it playing when, went to bed at night, woke up, I got up in the middle of the night, I would just press play and I'd hear my voice saying, what if it's possible? What if it's possible? Sure enough, 2 years later, I started doing the shows like this. And if I hadn't allowed my consciousness to expand into what if it's possible, I'd probably still be stuck.
Yes, I agree with you. And does this attitude ties into aligning our energies with the new earth for manifestation?
Can you say that again? Does this statement, does it what?
Aligns with our energies with the new earth for manifestation.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's say somebody wants to, let's just say buy a house. And they're thinking, what, it would be so nice to buy a house. But then your mind is going to go, but it's so expensive now and it's not possible. And I could never find an area, like all of this. And then the responsibility in that. So your mind is automatically going to stay stuck there. Remember, that's your comfort zone. That's your default, especially in moments of stress. I'd like to buy a house, or so whatever it is. It's just an example. That's a stress. So your mind is automatically going to default to your comfort zone, which is generally, fear-based. When you start saying, what if it's possible? Your energy and your consciousness expands. You start to align, exactly like you said, with the higher consciousness of the new earth, of the fifth dimension and above. And that's why new ideas come in. And you start to, it might be, what, I could ask for a raise at work, and different things like that. So absolutely, what if it's possible? And that, yeah, that aligns with higher consciousness.
And what other practical techniques for releasing inherited patterns and embracing abundance would you suggest to those who are listening to us?
Well, one, like I said earlier, ask yourself empowering questions. So if you're kind of stuck on that, write down all the things you say to yourself or questions you ask yourself. Now, there's some awareness. Awareness is the first step to growth. And so write down the things that, if you notice, like, do I often say, what's wrong with me? Or, oh man, I messed up again. Or why do I always get things, why can't I get anything right? Actually write that down. And then do the opposite of that. So if you say all the time, if you notice you're saying to yourself, what's wrong with me? Or how did I get this wrong again? Write down the opposite. What's right with me? How come I'm so amazing? What's brilliant about me? Start asking yourself questions like that. If you're stuck somewhere, if it's a relationship, if it's your health, whatever it is, ask yourself again empowering questions, and because the mind is going to answer them. So when you say, okay, not feeling very good lately, health hasn't been that great, I need more energy, and you can focus on that. Or you can say, okay, how can I allow myself to feel lighter? How can I start feeling healthier? And your mind will, okay, I just felt some resistance coming up. Because see, as you get that, the answers will come in, but then it involves taking action or changing things. And again, that's where we get comfortable. As far as like abundance is more than money, of course, it's everything. Start valuing yourself. So say phrases to yourself like, you know what? I like myself. I appreciate myself. I value myself. I am amazing. I matter and I am important. I'm enough. I really like myself. I appreciate myself. I'm awesome. And start saying phrases like that to yourself. And you start believing in yourself, valuing yourself. And as you see, money or any form of abundance is attracted to those higher frequencies. And money itself is attracted to value. Because when you value yourself, you believe in yourself, you value yourself, you're going to want to share that with others. And money's attracted to that.
Yes.
So, yeah, ask empowering questions is one of the asking empowering questions and talking to yourself with, like, really pay attention to your self-talk. Your self-talk can weaken your immune system. It can cause you to feel healthy. Or it can cause you to feel stuck and nothing in your life to go right. Or your self-talk can actually release pain from your body, especially acute pain. If you notice, a pain has come, and so just talk to it. You got a pain in your shoulder or your knee or anything like that. Just say, it's any pain in your body is trying to get your attention. If it's chronic, there's some deep-seated issues there, probably childhood issues or even past life issues. But if it's just a pain that's coming, and we all get them as we get older, aches and pains, one sticks around, just appreciate the pain. Just say, okay, there you are, pain. I see you're trying to get my attention. I appreciate you. Yeah, I honor you, respect you, value you. And pain, when you're ready, I let you be released to your highest and greatest good, and I let myself, my mind, body, spirit, soul be released to my highest and greatest good. And that pain, if it's chronic, it's going to take, going deep into that. But if it's just an acute pain, or a density in your body, your self-talk can keep you stuck, or it can lift you up and release you.
Yes, knowing how to ask questions is very important. And the other day, I was talking to another guest, Stephanie Banks, and she's teaching a course on how to work with a pendulum. And
Mm.
she explained the way we should ask questions, and the pendulum will answer. And the question should be asked in such a way that later on we don't get disappointed that what we asked for didn't happen, and is the nature of how we ask the question in order to get that honest answer back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are ways to do like muscle testing, or whatever person calls it, muscle testing, body testing, or like the pendulum testing, where you get accurate answers. And then, so yeah, anything like that is a good thing to learn. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Joy, these days, do you still use horses as a personal way of healing?
I don't. I left the horses well, it's been about 30 years now. But that horse energy is always there. Like, I think my first word was probably horse. So, well, I said I left the horses physically, the energy is always there. And, horses represent like that divine power and strength and courage. And I think that's just part of my being and part of the energy that I work with. And, like animals are, well, I'm not an animal communicator. I have worked with some animals, more like I do with people, in which identifying the emotional frequency of where somebody is stuck and then following the stream of consciousness. That's the same thing I do with animals. So that connection's always there.
Wonderful. And I know that part of your process when you work with clients is remote energy scan. And would you be able to go through this process with us today?
Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you.
Do you want me to do it with you, or?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay. So what I generally do is I have somebody, and I work with people in, like, on the phone or just from their picture. So is there an issue you would like cleared? And it can be anything. So what I'll do is I'll clear and activate. So I don't generally, depends what you're getting done, do an actual reading, but I'll do kind of yeah, just let me know if there's an issue you like cleared.
We can go with the common denominator, which we mentioned several times during this call, financial.
Okay. So you'd like to increase your abundance then?
Correct.
Okay, just take a deep breath in. Even just saying that, Claudio, your throat chakra actually released there, saying, like, identifying clearly you'd like to increase your financial abundance. At the same time, there's some anger coming in. And yeah, it's actually building up steam here. There's a lot of anger. No, when I say coming in, it's coming out of you. and it's coming into your field. So, okay, let's just witness this anger. It's quite an intense anger. Like when I first felt it, it was just a little touch, but the more we focus on increasing financial abundance, there's more and more. There you go. And okay, so now there's resistance. So now there's anger and resistance. And okay, so then what I'm seeing now, it's like you're the little boy within you saying, why should I? I shouldn't have to. I want somebody to take care of me for once. He's like a pouty little boy right now. And okay, so yes, little Claudio, we see you. And he all of a sudden he was like, what? You see me? And generally the inner child isn't used to being seen. And so he turned around and he looked and he's looking at us right now, me and my guides, and he's saying, who are you? Where did you come from? And well, I'm chatting with your adult self here, with your big self. And he's like, oh, it's like he's looking around. Little boy, little Claudio just woke up here. And so he's participating in this conversation now. So little Claudio, why were you getting kind of, pouty there? I don't want to. What are you looking for? What do you need? And he says, I want to be recognized. I want to be acknowledged. So it's a little boy, and the little boy is saying, I want to be recognized and acknowledged, and nobody notices me. He says, I feel like I'm just a background actor. He says, a background player. And okay, so what do you need in order to feel, little Claudio? What do you need in order to feel fulfilled so that your self as a totality and your adult self can increase your financial abundance? He gets a little annoyed and he says, it's not all about money. Okay, it's not, little Claudio, of course, all about money. But as we were talking earlier, which you may not have heard, that we were talking about how money can make a difference to others. And he's like, but why should I make a difference to others when nobody notices me? So what's going on here? This is a childhood wound. And we're just giving him a voice. Whatever he says, it's okay. There you go. Just take a deep breath in. Okay, so little Claudio, I want to ask you again, what do you need in order to feel and be fulfilled, within your mind, body, soul, spirit, so that your entire self, your adult self, can, increase the scope of their business and start making more money? Okay, so he just relaxed. He went, well, he says, I guess I got to look at money different. So it feels like whoever raised you, your mom and dad, were focused on just trying to make a living. And so it was like, it was all about money because you're trying to make a living. And little Claudio, he did resent that. He doesn't so much now. He's starting to understand. So the little boy within you is awakening to a higher consciousness himself. There you go. There, your whole self relax. Okay, so now little Claudio's he's just really sad. So let's honor the sadness within you, within the little boy within you. And okay, so little Claudio says, but I'm not deserving and worthy of being sad. Oh, that's a little harsh on yourself. So, anyways, little Claudio, all the ways in which you, for whatever reason, don't feel worthy and deserving of feeling sad. So, in other words, little Claudio is saying he's not worthy of feeling what he's feeling. And there you go. All of a sudden, he just woke up. It's like he opened his eyes and he said, you mean I am worthy of feeling what I'm feeling? Yes, little Claudia. Oh, you are. Okay, just relax. That's really the little boy within you. That's all he's ever wanted, is knowing that he's worthy and deserving, and it's okay for him to feel what he's actually feeling. And now it's like your whole self has relaxed. Okay, there's some happiness. Okay, so you and the little boy within you just aligned. And so now together, wow, I just felt this confident, really confident, empowered, grounded energy just ground into you there, Claudio. and you feel very grounded to the earth and the power of the earth. And now, okay, so now let's look at the money situation. And so you want to increase your money situation, so imagine receiving and accepting money. So you're actually accepting that money. Okay, there's a little bit of guilt there. Not a lot, but there's a little bit of guilt. And so just imagine that somebody's giving you money, or whether it's your clientele or however you're receiving money, and you start receiving ever increasing amounts of money. And imagine you're receiving these amounts with ease, grace, flow. You're full of gratitude. And okay, any ways in which you believe, of course, it's not your higher self, any ways in which you believe receiving money with gratitude, like being grateful to receive money, is wrong, that in some way it makes you greedy. See, this is how the 3D consciousness, that belief structure, keeps us stuck. There you go. So let's just let go of that. Okay, there's some happiness. There's some fun and laughter. Okay, so again, Claudio, just imagine you're receiving money wherever you could, expected and unexpected money from expected and unexpected places, and in ever increasing amounts. You're receiving more and more money, and you're receiving it with gratitude. Still doesn't really align with you. So anything you have learned in your life, or any ways in which you align with 3D consciousness around money, that is causing you to feel like receiving money with gratitude is somehow bad or wrong, or somehow like it's almost like it makes you greedy. I think what it is, gratitude is such a powerful energy of creation that when you receive money with gratitude, then money will come in an even bigger way. And then there you go, there's your fear. And that's the fear of being greedy. So any lifetime in which you were greedy and all you cared about was money. And yeah, okay, there's one lifetime coming in when you were quite greedy and just cared about money. Okay, so just let's go to that lifetime if you're willing. And I won't see exactly what was going on, but just see that lifetime when you were very greedy. So you're very cold, and it's like a hard energy, and all you care about is money. And okay, so you're gathering more and more money. You don't care about anybody else. So we're in a past lifetime here. Now I want it. So you've gathered all this money. You've hoarded this money. Now let's go in that past lifetime to you just want to go to your moment of death. So we're just a few hours, but you still can think clearly, just a few hours before you pass. I just want to see how you're feeling. You're actually you're very cold, like you're cold, just cold body temperature, cold in your energy, just cold. And so in the moment you passed, again, you were just cold and not feeling anything. Okay, so now I believe past lives come in, we see them because there's something in this lifetime you're supposed to learn and release. And I think what you're witnessing there, Claudio, from that past lifetime is how many, like you said, a billionaire, they just spend money on, things that keep us stuck in 3D consciousness and that. And what that past life is showing you is how cold and numbed out they can become to like humanity. But to judge that or to find it wrong is keeping that energy stuck. So who you were in that past life, let's bless that person. Let's bless you at the moment of your passing in that past life, and bless you with compassion. There you go. And then all those in this lifetime that have all kinds of money, multimillionaires and billionaires. Let's simply send them compassion. And I can feel there's a lot of resistance to sending them compassion. It's almost like, but why? They don't deserve it. But that keeps everything stuck. They are never going to wake up in this lifetime or their next lifetime if they're stuck in the 3D consciousness. Compassion, it at least starts the release of the density, and it begins the opening of their heart. There you go. There's some fun and laughter. Okay, there's some happiness. Like this weight just came off you there. Okay, so now just want to finish up with, imagine you're receiving ever increasing amounts of money with gratitude, ease, flow, grace. Okay, so now there's happiness. Now in your heart, your entire self, there's happiness. You're grounded in that. Okay, take a deep breath in. Soshokabasa, awala soshoko, tokabase babaka, awala sa, soshokabasa, awala ka, awala soshoko, tokabase babaka, awala sa, soshokabasa, awala ka, soshokabasa, awala ka. There you go. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was quite powerful for releasing this stuck energies. Thank you.
Yeah, that was, I think that'll, because I mean, that clearing was for everybody, and it's so easy to judge, but it's compassion that will change energy. And you feel, right now, Claudio, you feel very open to receiving ever increasing amounts of money. So,
Yes, thank you. And I think during this session, I coined a new term, consciousness. Sorry, um, corporate consciousness officer. So whoever wants to use that term for attaching themselves to a leader who doesn't know how to spend their wealth wisely, making an impact. I think each one of us can use this term and guide them wisely to detach and apply their wealth to where it is needed.
exactly. I think it's so easy to judge that. I mean, it's just, and humans do, they judge things. And to judge it and to find it wrong. Like, how could somebody who's a multimillionaire or a billionaire and they give money to, political parties, and it keeps everything stuck in the 3D. But that's coming from our lower consciousness and our judgment of that. But the only thing that's going to, whether it's whatever situation it is, you want to be, it's the energy. You want to free up that energy. Judgment or finding it wrong, whether it's, towards yourself or somebody else, or, a friend or a situation like that, always keeps it stuck. And it's the energy of compassion or even acceptance, just accepting it, that will free it up. And that's somebody who is really stuck in their 3D consciousness and, full of greed or anything like that. Even if they might not figure it out in this lifetime, but it's energy, it's the higher frequency energies that are aligned in the new earth and above that will ultimately free them of that.
Yes,
But
and
it's so easy to default to judgment or finding wrongness, like, because most people go there.
yes,
And so you just want to, how can I look at this from a place of higher consciousness, like a heart-centered place? And I mean, it takes a lot of awareness and high consciousness, but we can do it,
yes, and lately I included into my meditation practice the idea of being released from judgment, and I catch myself doing that on a daily basis, and I have to stop myself and forgive myself for having that thought and moving on. And I think each of us will have to meditate deeper and think deeper onto this concept of judgment and that will release us from many other blockages.
Exactly. And you just touched on something there. Just talking to somebody about this the other day, and that's self-forgiveness. Because, at the core, we're all human. And and our ancestors and us, we've been birthed into this, fear-based 3D consciousness. So yeah, we're going to judge. We're going to judge ourselves and others. But when you can forgive yourself for that and say, it's not about making an excuse. It's saying like, I'm human. I was taught in this consciousness, and I'm forgiving myself. You know what? I'm freeing myself of judging myself so that I can feel free and move forward. So
Yes.
yeah, that's a really good point. Self-forgiveness.
Yes. Once again, thank you for this wonderful session.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you for letting me, go there and connect with the little boy within you. I love it when the inner child shows up because yeah, to me yeah, I just love that when the inner child shows up.
Yeah, it's that innocence that has to be released back into the adulthood.
Yeah. Exactly. And they're given a voice and they can say whatever they want. They know that, and it shows that they're feeling safe. And then your adult self and your little self can merge and align. And then that's when you really feel whole and complete and balanced and grounded. So
Yeah,
yeah, thank you. That's been great being here.
thank you. And Joy, do you have any other programs you'd like to mention to the audience?
Well, my website is courageinaction.com. So that's courageinaction.com. And first of all, if somebody wants something free, they can get a free ebook there. They just put in their email and it comes up right away. And it's a messages from spirit. So they're both written and MP3 form, channeled messages from spirit. And that's at my website. Now there's a program on there called 33 Days of Healing. I'm not sure when I'll be doing it next, but it's 33 days of daily healing plus Q&A calls. So I do clearings, something like we did today, and readings and meditations and that during. And then also I send out messages from Spirit MP3. So there's a whole on that 33 Days of Healing program. That's there. And then if they want, they might want to try the remote, get a remote reading. And I do that from the picture. I also do phone sessions, but I also just work from a person's picture because all the energies and everything is consciousness. So when somebody sends me their picture, the energy, and we have, I call it an energy signature, which is, the aura or the subtle body. And that contains all our traumas, our experiences, anything that's ever happened to us, and the emotional field and all of that. And I just read that and then do a reading and clearing and such. So that's a remote work that's on my website. So yeah, and that's courageinaction.com.
And you work with the divine light. How do you perceive it? Are you clairvoyant, clairsentient? How do you work with the divine light?
I forget which clair it is it's called.
I mean, you feel it or
Yeah.
you see images and
No, as far as images, I don't see them in color. It's more of a sense. But what I do, where I really go is I identify the emotional frequency. So, and again, that's a sense. The emotional frequency, it's like a thread that is stuck in any trauma or keeping a person stuck or despair or anything like that. And once we identify that, like as I'm talking, divine light is shining upon that. So that pattern or that stuckness is being released. And then we just follow, like we did with you there, Claudio. We just follow the stream of consciousness and go wherever where takes us. We're my guides. We just go on a journey and follow that stream of consciousness. But ultimately it is released and then you feel lighter.
beautiful. And a question which I recently added to my buffer of questions for my guests. If you'll have to offer humanity another gift other than what you are offering right now, what would that be?
First thing that comes in is the gift of compassion. Uh, well, I don't know if it's other than what I'm offering now. I would say the gift of compassion and the gift. If I could actually give a gift to somebody that they would receive, it would be the gift of them believing in themselves.
Beautiful.
I mean, I would love for everybody to be to see that the divine being they are and to believe in themselves and to be kind to themselves. If I could actually say, here's a gift, I'm going to wrap it up and, with a bow and give it to them and they would receive it, that would be it.
Yes, because that's the seed we have to plant that will grow into a fully blown spiritual being that we are.
Exactly, you got it.
Mm. Joy, we are at the end of our lovely discussion. Any final words?
Believe in yourself, value yourself, trust yourself. Even if it's trust may not feel, may almost feel foreign to you, but imagine it. Imagine, just say to yourself, imagine if I trusted myself and believed in myself. What an amazing life I could create for myself. What an amazing world I could create for myself. Because you are amazing. You do have worth. You are beautiful inside and out. And you're here for a reason. Share the gift you are with others.
Thank you very much for this wonderful
Thank
discussion
you.
and session and exchange of energy. Much love and all the best in what you are going to do in 2025.
Thank you, Claudio. Thanks for having me on your show.
And to my viewers, thank you very much for watching. Share it, leave a comment. As I mentioned before, visit us on spiritualinspired.ca, gnostictv.com, and YouTube. And until next time, love and gratitude.